Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by our dear brother. So this is the narration of the message that he sent to me. The narration reads like this. Hello, Brother Nanshi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I want to tell you the things that I have been told by the doctor, the things that I have been doing. So recently, I went to my own private doctor, and when I was with him, he told me that I have a very big problem, and I have this deep hatred towards women. And even when I arrived here in South Africa, I started to develop this hatred towards your very beautiful women. I think it was because of the heartbreak that I received at the hands of a South African woman whom I had given all of my heart. I had given all of her, and I considered her to be very special because when I came here, I had never made love to a woman, and she was the first woman that I ever made love to. And it is very unfortunate that after she had broken my heart, she turned me into a demon, into the devil himself, because of the pain that she had brought into my life. When I came here to South Africa, I started working as a truck driver, and you can just imagine the money that I was making, because back in those days, the people who used to work as truck drivers, usually they were your white men, and us guys that were from Zim and Zambia, Malawi as well. We were the ones that used to run this economy by driving these trucks, and we would drive without ever resting. So the money that we were making, it was double the amount of money that most of these guys that are driving trucks right now are making, because we would never rest. We were always on the road, and the loads, there used to be a lot, and now it is just the competition has gone up and there are too many trucks on the road. So since I was making a lot of money in that area that I was staying in, that location, I used to stay close to this other woman. She was quite a beauty. You could think that this woman had just fallen from heaven. She was in university at that time. Each and every time when I'll be at home resting, I would then call her, even though I had not yet told her that I was in love with her. Then I would gift her. I used to give her a lot of money. So each and every time that she would accept the money that I was giving her, I thought that this meant that she was also in love with me, but she was attracted to me because of the gifts that I was giving her. By the time that I told her that me and her, we were supposed to go on a vacation, and I was using my bonus money, the amount that I had gotten on in that year in December, it was somewhere close to 58,000 rands, including my salary. So me and this girl, we went out on a vacation, and we just spent that money. I returned back from that vacation without having any single cent. That was when the stealing started, because of the way that I was spending all of my money on this girl. I needed to have other means of income. So we will drain the diesel from our trucks, then we will sell this diesel, even the tires on the truck. We will go to these other guys that change tires by the side of the road. Then we will just park the truck there. Then we will remove all the tires. Then they will just insert the old tires. So that is how I was making money. And each and every time that I would have made my deals, then I would send the money back to my girlfriend, and she started acting out like she was really desperately in love with me. She even promised that she was going to give me a child, and those were the happiest days in my life. But so I thought that with the money that I was giving to her, I was going to make her to dump her boyfriend, the one that she told me that she had dated since primary school. I thought that money was going to make her to dump her own boyfriend. But with the money that I was giving her, she was actually giving that money to her childhood boyfriend. And by the time that I realized that this woman, she was never going to fall pregnant for me, and she was actually moving to another province with her boyfriend after her boyfriend had gotten a job somewhere else in another province. He was supposed to go on his attachments, and I was really hurt. I never believed that she was going to betray me in such a way. And that is when the hatred started. Even the day that she came to my place, when she told me that unfortunately she wanted us to end our relationship because she was looking into the future, and she said, you and I, we come from different countries, and I just want to have to start a family with a man that is also from the same country that I come from, so that I can know that we are always going to be together. If we have a child now, you will tell me that maybe we should go to your country, and you will find out that I do not want to go to your country, so our relationship cannot work. And that was the truth that she told me, but I could not accept. The moment that she walked away crying, I also started crying, because this woman, I loved her with all of my life. Me and her, I thought that we were going to become the hottest couple here in South Africa, but unfortunately she had chosen to end our relationship. I said, this one, I am going to sort her out. But at that time, those were the words that of a man that was just in pain. But when I got fired, the way that I got fired was I started dating another woman, and that is the problem with me. I have always been chasing after these beautiful South African women, those ones that are really demanding. After this girl had dumped me, that was when I remembered this other girl that I had fallen in love with. But that is the problem with me. I have always chased after these very beautiful women that are always demanding, those that are not of my class. At that time, those were the women that I used to chase after, even though I knew that they were too demanding. So I went on Facebook and I spoke with her. Since she had blocked me on WhatsApp, I begged her and I told her, please unblock me on WhatsApp. So she unblocked me. When she unblocked me, she said, what do you want? And tell me what you want, otherwise I am going to block you for good. And I knew that for me to date this woman, I needed to do something big for her. At that time, she was just using a small phone, and I told her that I wanted her to meet me in town in about a week's time, because I wanted to buy an iPhone for her. At that time, I was supposed to return back to work. She was really excited, and she was already calling me a future husband. So when I returned back to work, I then did what I always did. I went and I exchanged the tires and I sold some diesel, and then I made my money. I returned back home and I took that girl out and I took her to an iStore. I bought for her an iPhone and we started dating. We made love to each other, but still this girl, she betrayed me. This girl, she hurt me the most, because she used to send some text to me and she would tell me that you are my bow and arrow, because she used to take this alcohol that is called strong bow. So she would say that you are my bow and arrow. And each and every time when I would send her some money, what I did not know was that this woman, she would be using that money to go out with some of her boyfriends, drinking the beer, using the money that I was sending to her. That is how much this girl was hurting me. With time, I found out that this is what she was doing to me. But so the day that this girl showed me that she was using all of the money that I used to send to her when I would be on the road, and just spending that money on her own boyfriend, drinking their strong boys, it really made me to feel really depressed. And I saw that in this country, when you do not have money, then you do not mean anything to these beautiful women. I then thought of a plan of actually sacrificing these women. So I went and I spoke with these other men that I had heard about, because I used to be friends with this other man who also comes from Durban. So he used to tell me that if he would get the chance, he wanted to sacrifice his own son. So this man, all of a sudden, he stopped driving the truck that he was driving. He just left this truck by the side of the road. I was the one who was sent by my Indian boss to go and fetch that truck. I then contacted that man and I said, what happened to you, my brother? At that time, I had not yet thought of becoming a ritualist, and he told me that I was supposed to come to his house. When I went to his house, this man, he had just bought a house that was worth around 2.5 million. This was just like a normal truck driver that was now owning such a beautiful townhouse. Me and him, we spoke a lot, and he told me that he had managed to sacrifice his own son. And as we were talking, he told me that his son is now a severe disability. And he said, if you want, I am going to show you. So after a couple of days, when he called me, he then said, let us go. I want to show you my son and everything that I did to him. So he took me to his other house, but that other house, he was just renting it for his wife, because now they were staying in separate places. So the wife stays with this child that has a disability on the other part of town, and he stays on the other part of the city. And we went there, and I saw that indeed he had managed to become a ritualist by sacrificing his own son and making him to have a severe disability. I said, this is what I want, and I was really excited. He then took me to this other woman. When he took me to that woman, I was really shocked. This was like the shock of my life when I saw that this woman, the traditional healer, she only had one breast, and this breast, it was in the middle of her chest. That woman then told me that I was supposed to breastfeed on her breast. Was when she told me that all that my heart desired was going to be mine. And in my case, she asked me, whom did I want to sacrifice? Sacrifice myself, sacrifice my mother. Whom did I want to sacrifice? And I then said to that woman, is it possible for me to bring the wombs of the women that I'll be sleeping with after I would have given them money? If it happens that I become rich, you make me to be rich. That woman laughed out so hard, and she said that yes, it was possible, but at the same time it was impossible for me to bring the wombs of these women that I'll be sleeping with. But she said that after making love to these women, I am going to give you some things that you'll be using to wipe yourself, and you keep this soft cloth. She said as she was getting up from where she was sitting, then she started to look for this other soft cloth from amongst her many charms, and finally she said, aha, there it is. She then handed over to me what looked like a handkerchief, and she said that I want you to use this handkerchief whenever you would have made love to these women that you say that you want to punish, and after you would have made love to them, then you wipe them, and after you wipe your manhood, this thing, you are not supposed to wash it. I am the only one who can wash it, because it can only be washed using my charms. And I was then handed that soft cloth, and I kept it. I returned back to Johannesburg, and I called that other girlfriend of mine, my first girlfriend, for I had been told that I was supposed to do whatever that I could so that I can spend one more night with her. I reminded her of the good times that we had had together, and for a price, I said, please, can we spend one more night? She said, for a price, how much do you have? At that time, I had managed to raise 8,000 rands, and I said, please, for this 8,000 rands, let me just spend a night with you, holding you in my arms. Even if you say you do not want to make love to me, it does not matter. She said, you really love me. You even love me more than my husband. You mean that you want to give me 8K just to spend the night just holding me? And I said that you mean the world to me. It is very unfortunate that at that time I was just a poor man, and that is the reason as to why you had to break up with me. This girl, she then came from the province where she was staying with her husband. She lied to her husband that she just wanted to come and check up on her mother, but she had came back to Joburg to sleep with me. I had already made some reservations at this other hotel. I took her there, and she was impressed. Later on in the evening, when we were in bed, I was just holding her, and she said, so you are not going to make love to me? I pretended as if I was fine. I did not want to make love to her. I was not in a rush, but I knew everything that I was doing. I was setting her up when she was like in love, and when I touched her on her private parts, I felt that this woman, she was really hot for me. And then I started making love to her so much that when she finished, when she climaxed, she fell fast asleep. Then I started to wipe her using that handkerchief that I had brought with me to Joburg from Durban. And then I took that handkerchief, folded it neatly, and placed it in my pockets. The next morning, I gave her her money. We kissed each other goodbye, and I was on my way returning back to Durban. That is when I did the first sacrifice. I sacrificed that woman, and when she was traveling back to the province where she was staying with her boyfriend in the taxi that taxi had a fatal road accident, and she was the only one who died on the scene. And that lady collected her spirit. Even right now, she still uses the spirit of my first girlfriend. What she uses this spirit for, I do not even know. So she just gave me that task, that all that I have to do is to sleep with these women that I give money, and then I wipe them using that handkerchief that she gave to me. So with all of this power that she gave to me and the money that she gave to me, I think that the power and the money ended up corrupting my mind, and it brought out a monster. So this woman, the reason as to why I had picked her up, it was because I had noticed that she had a low self-esteem. I pretended as if I was her Prince Charming who had came to rescue her, because even in high school she told me that she was a victim of bullying. Even at university she used to be bullied a lot, and I pretended as if I cared for her. But the things that I did, I'm sure that wherever she is a destroyed, a damaged woman. Because I remember that there was this other day when we went to this other engine garage. Whilst I was busy filling up, after we had filled up my car, then we parked somewhere else, and I told her that I wanted to take her to the male's bathroom. So she followed me, and then I told her that I just wanted to experience what it felt like to make love to a woman at a filling station in the bathroom. So because of her low self-esteem, she did not even have the courage to tell me that she could not go ahead with what I was asking her to do. And this was somewhere around 12 a.m. And when I did these things to her in the male's bathroom, after I was done, I told her to go on her knees, and it was really demonic, the things that I did. But this is what power does to you, and power will bring out the monster that is hidden in you. As she was kneeling down, I told her that I wanted her to open up her mouth. This was after I had made love to her, and I started to urinate into her mouth, and I urinated all over her face. I degraded her, and it still hurts me up until this day. And this is the reason as to why I ended up going to that doctor, and the doctor told me that I have a big problem. I really have a big problem of me hating these women that I date. I do not date these beautiful women because I love them, but it is because of my hatred towards them. I hate their beauty. I hate the first woman that I dated, the way that she mistreated me, the way that she took me for granted and used me and pretended that she loved me. Yet she used to take my money and give it to her own boyfriend. That is why I ended up sacrificing her. This is what I go through on a daily basis. I use these women, then I regret. It is like masturbating. You do it, you regret, but after an hour or so, you feel like you want to do it again. So I feel like I am addicted to these things that I am doing. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our brother right there. Your strange things do happen in this world. Please pray for your daughters such that they will never come across this type of a man. Your